Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's MacklinGaming. Where have I been for the last 2 weeks? There have been no videos. I've been enjoying the summer in my birthday month of July, and I've been playing DK Bananza. Donkey Kong Bonanza has taken over. You know, I've also been playing one other huge JRPG game this summer that I'm going to make a video on, and I've been spending a lot of my summer playing that. So subscribe if you want to see that video coming up in the near future. But right now, in today's video, it's all about Donkey Kong Bonanza. So this game has been just a joy to play because, you know, I got my Switch 2. I played Mario Kart World. I exhausted my backwards catalog. You know, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, just to see how they all run, and it's glorious, and I'm gonna keep playing them. But I was really dying for something new on the Switch 2. I just feel like Mario Kart World didn't hold me over for that long, and it seems like it hasn't held everybody over for that long. People are saying it's already dead, you know, whatever that means, but it's still a fun game. It's a great game, but it's Mario Kart. So I needed that single player Switch 2 exclusive adventure to come out, and finally it did with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now this game was made by the Super Mario Odyssey team. That's when I knew that this game was gonna be big, like really good. I knew it was a Donkey Kong game. Maybe it would be something like the Donkey Kong Country made into 3D, or Donkey Kong 64, hopefully not that bad. You know, I didn't have any reference to go off what would this 3D Donkey Kong game be like. And then when I heard it was made by the Odyssey team, I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be great, whatever it is, even if it's like a carbon copy of Odyssey, which it's not. It is very much their DNA, but it's Donkey Kong's own game for sure. So let's get right into the details of the game and why I'm enjoying it so much. So right off the bat, the main feature of this game is the destructible environments and Donkey Kong's punching and breaking of the terrain in the game world. So that's so fun and such a difficult game mechanic to achieve. You know, there's no way the Switch 1 would be able to handle this game with the destructible environments. And the most satisfying thing is the button layout. So like if you want a ground punch, you press the B button, which is at the bottom of the controller. If you want to punch like straight forward, you press the Y button, which is to the left. You know, it's like in the middle. And then if you want to punch up, you know, let's say you're like underground and you want to punch and break the ground above you or the terrain above you, because you can just punch in 360 degrees, you know, you press the X button, which is at the top of the controller. So the way that the buttons are laid out and the way that Donkey Kong's different punches are mapped to the buttons is like so satisfying. It's perfect Nintendo like genius right there. Simple, but like, oh yeah, duh, it should be that way, right? It's so perfect. It feels great to play as Donkey Kong in this game. That's what I want to say first and foremost. The destroying of the environment and the feel of the button presses and controlling DK is just, it's the best part of the game. However, when you break the terrain and punch your way crazy through a level, there are frame rate drops. You know, this game is supposed to be a 60 FPS game, and it does that for most of it, but it really does drop frames like into the 50s when you're breaking stuff. So it is what it is. It doesn't affect me too much. I can see it happening, but it's not game breaking. You know, Elden Ring is one of my favorite games ever, and that game has terrible frame rate issues. Everybody knows this. So that doesn't really bother me, but it is there if you have like, you know, people are saying if you get motion sickness easily or like, you know, stuff like that, dizzy, seizures even, like this game can be kind of crazy when you're just blasting your way through the rocks as DK. And so what is the main mission of this game? Well, you have to collect all the Banandium gems. There is a storyline, but the main thing you're doing in this game is trying to collect. It's a collectathon. You want to collect all the Banandium gems, just like you collected the moons in Mario Odyssey. And like in Mario Odyssey, there's a story where, you know, Peach and Bowser and the classic tale there. So in Donkey Kong, the story is you have the evil Kongs, the Void Kongs, and they're like terrorizing everyone's land here down into the core of the earth. So you have to like chase after the Void Kongs, try and stop them and save everybody. Meanwhile, you get a little companion buddy with you, and that little buddy turns into a very famous Mario character in Pauline. So you have this little teenage version of Pauline, and she can help you by like singing, and she does this really funny like soulful singing, like Whitney Houston type, like Beyonce. I was not expecting that to happen, but every time you want to like unlock some of these like main story obstacles, they're like covered in purple, and you have to like, you know, sing and make music to break through them in order to get more Banandium gems and get through the main story of the game. So her singing is really pivotal in getting through the main story, and other than that, it's collecting the Banandium gems. A lot of other things you can do with the terrain. You can pick up a chunk of rock and use it to just melee attack enemies, and you can smash them with it. You can also throw it, so you can just chuck a rock like a ranged attack. You can surf on it, you know, think about like Link's shield surfing. So he can, you know, throw his shield under him and surf on the ground. So DK can take a chunk of the rock that he just broke off of like the side of a cliff and then just start surfing around the ground on it. And it can be used to like get over thorns and get over like poisonous water and stuff like that. So there's really cool mechanics built in there, as well as throughout all the levels. Think about Astrobot. Each level in Donkey Kong Bonanza, maybe not every single one, but a lot of levels have their own mechanic, right? Their own like gimmick. So when you're in the level, like the forest level, there's this like little nut you pick up out of the ground, you throw it, and then it creates vines, and you can use the vines as a bridge to get yourself to like new places you haven't been before. So that I thought was a really cool little mechanic, and there's others in different levels. My favorite one so far is the resort level, the beach level, and there's like this rainbow glittery colored ore, and you pick up these rocks, and once you take a chunk out of the ground of this rock, you just start like catapulting straight up into the air, like really far. So it's like an interesting mechanic, and the enemies in that level, when you kill them and punch them, they create like a bridge of this rainbow road looking ore mineral stuff. So there's really interesting ways to like get up high in that level and like get to like different parts of the level which have like different altitudes. So just these different like level based exclusive gameplay mechanics in each level makes the game so fresh and exciting. Like every time you go to a new place, you know, it's like, what am I going to learn about here? What is the new mechanic here? And that brings me to all of the Bonanza transformations, because throughout the game, separate from these little gameplay gimmicks, there are full-on Bonanza transformations. So what is that? Donkey Kong can turn into a zebra. He can turn into like a bigger, meaner looking gorilla. He can turn into an ostrich. And there's a few more that I haven't mentioned. I don't want to spoil them all, but with these transformations, you can just start going ape shit, literally. You know, with the Donkey Kong one, you get a charge punch. Like when you're just a bigger gorilla, you can do a huge punch. So you can break through like tougher rocks, right? There's like different levels of density and strength to each level of terrain that you have to like punch through, you know? So when you are the like Bonanza form of Donkey Kong, he can punch through like the hardest materials, right? So you can get to new areas that way. And you can also just like kill enemies super easily. My favorite, most useful one, I feel like, is the ostrich is gliding. You know, think about, again, Breath of the Wild, Link gliding around the map. So if you need to get to a place and it's like far, you can't jump it, you can just transform into your ostrich and then glide, because we all know ostriches can fly. So this game has tons of different mechanics and awesome gameplay elements. And it has a skill menu, so you can upgrade Donkey Kong and each one of these Bonanza transformations as you go. So the skills are really fun. It's like, you know, get more charge power with your punch, get like the ability to surf longer on a piece of turf, or to be able to like punch through the ground harder. So there's a bunch of cool perks and skill points. You're constantly picking up skill points every time you get a Banandium gem. So it's fun to just like pick perks very frequently and feel like you're really progressing through the game without it being like the longest game ever. You know, it's really just like a 20-hour campaign. So if you want to play more and collect all the Banandium gems, there's hundreds. So it'll be a very dense game with a lot of high replayability. So that for me is like huge. I love to have this single player adventure. Even if I roll credits at the end, I can go back and keep playing, try and 100% it, and it's a fun time because the gameplay is king, and the gameplay in this game of Donkey Kong Bonanza is so fun. So what do you guys think about Donkey Kong Bonanza? Let me know in the comments. Are the frame rate issues too much for you? That's the only negative I can think about in this game. Otherwise, it is a full package. And, you know, Logan from IGN rated it a 10 out of 10. And I support his rating of a 10 out of 10. I think this is the first Switch 2 Nintendo exclusive masterpiece. So everyone, go play Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.